And hey, we got two of them. Hey guys, welcome.
Hey,
Hey,
hello.
nice
Yes.
to be here.
So you two are brothers, correct?
Yes, we
Yes.
are.
Well, that's very cool. And you've been working together to create your first adventure game, Crowns and Pawns. So first of all, congratulations. It's a really impressive looking game. I unfortunately haven't had a chance to try it out, but I'm just amazed by how I was just saying to Pascal, it's amazing the quality of work coming from first time developers, and you guys are very much in that group. So tell us a bit about your game.
Yeah, so it's called Crowns and Pawns, Kingdom of Deceit, and it's actually pretty similar to Broken Sword and the narrative of the Da Vinci Code. So it starts with a young woman from Chicago, where she gets the last will of her grandfather from Lithuania in Europe. So she doesn't know what to expect, but apparently she got a house from him. So she travels here to Lithuania, where we are from, actually, and she tries to figure out what's going on. She goes to the house, but then finds out that some kind of bad guys are looking for something. They were looking for something in the house, and they are starting to like ask her things which she doesn't yet know that she has or could have. And then the adventure starts, and then she starts traveling to different places, like historical places, archives, and churches, and different kind of cities and countries, until she may or may not find something at the end. So that's basically the narrative of the game, and yeah, it's quite a traditional game, but we tried to add some kind of little innovations and new things here and there to the genre, like for example, customization of the character, which is not that common in the point and click genre, but people actually loved that a lot, and
Can you
they
just explain that a bit? Customization in what sense?
yeah, so you can actually change the clothes of your character and the haircut, and you can add a tattoo, and you can actually choose her profession in the beginning of the game,
Okay.
and it's all kind of integrated into in the gameplay. So it's not like just dress her up for no reason, but you actually have to do that for some of the puzzles, and some of the choices that you make in the beginning of the game are integrated in the dialogues with her friend. So you're not even aware that you're making the choices at first until you see her. So yeah, and then you have to use some of the clothing choices for puzzles. Because for some situations you have to be dressed in a certain way, but of course you can just change her looks just for fun if you wanna.
That's a great detail. We're talking to Curtis. Curtis.
He was Curtis. Too many
Pardon
of
me?
us.
What's that?
Are you talking about Paul Morgan Stetler?
Yeah, Paul Morgan Sellers.
I was just mentioning he is Curtis to a lot of us.
He is Curtis. Yeah, but I was actually going to talk about Phantasmagoria 1, sort of one of the most notable games where the lead actress never changes their clothes, no matter, like all during the week, always the same outfit. And it sort of became a kind of a notorious criticism of the game, just a silly little thing. But just like, I love hearing that, oh, wow, you can actually start changing them, you know, uh, altering their appearance in different ways. But I had no idea you'd even integrate it into the gameplay. That's really smart.
It sounded like you were saying that there's maybe a little bit of replayability. Some puzzles are affected by this. So does that mean that I get different solutions to a puzzle in if I play the character with a different style, I guess?
Yes, there are some puzzles that are affected because we just didn't want to make it like you choose it and you get nothing from that. But as a lot of things we did, like we really like to experiment a lot with games we do in gameplay, in visuals, and other things. So we tried to add these little things, and one of this was like different puzzles for different professions, and it's kind of nice, but it's also sometimes confusing for players because they see more hotspots, more things. They think they can maybe do something, but for example, in some cases, for a profession they chose, it's not the correct path. So yeah, it's really interesting, but sometimes players are really confused because why is this mirror here, and the mirror is not for this profession, it's for another profession, and they try to do something. But yeah, it's really fun, and there is some replay value. And another thing is that we tried making different dialogue options, and some of basically she may be really nice, or she may be really sassy, or she may be really funny at sometimes, and so on. So we feel that it's more engaging for the player to make their own character.
Yeah, that's
Speaking
really
of-
and it's so rarely done. So that's a really unique aspect of your game.
When
Yes.
when you said the
I'm
like the mirror is there for only a certain profession to interact with, I'm getting like vibes from of Maniac Mansion.
I don't remember but yeah, I think it's funny. Adventure gamers are so trained to, everything has its purpose, and if you don't know what it is now, you will later. So take it, and not always, not in every game. So I like that. Back to it's not actually a red herring. You're not sort of purposely trying to fool people into thinking it's important. It is important, just not the way you've chosen to play it. So that's really cool.
Yep.
That's what I meant. That was an Maniac Mansion had the same thing with different characters who could interact with certain objects, but some couldn't.
Right. Yeah.
I was curious about because when you were describing the plot, you said it takes place in where she travels to Lithuania, but then also there's like a global aspect. There's other countries that are involved.
Yes.
So I always like when a game takes me to a real world place that I've never been before, and since you're native to Lithuania, so that is it a good educational experience to learn about Lithuania for one, but maybe other places as well?
I think it is actually because I think with a lot of games when you play them, you kind of want to visit the place later in your grown-up life, especially. And I think all games and books and movies have that aspect, and I think actually quite a lot of indie developers are choosing their own home for their games, or their home country, or at least places inspired by their home country. So I kind of love the fact that smaller countries and lesser known histories and places and stories and myths and things like that are kind of presented in games. So we kind of wanted to also see if the world would be interested in something lesser known, and it seems that they are. And some people definitely said that they would want to visit the places they saw in our game as well. So hopefully, yes, hopefully it's a good experience, and hopefully it motivates people to come to new places in real life.
Yeah, I remember playing Broken Sword, and the Paris scene where the leaves are like autumn leaves, and the atmosphere is really nice. And I think it's really inspired me to go to Paris and try to find those places. So yeah, we hope that players might get inspired to visit Lithuania, and actually go to other European countries in our game, so they might get inspired to visit those countries as well. So yeah, it's a nice addition of these kind of realistic games that you can visit the places as well.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really appeals to me about your game. I like the Broken Sword influence is strong, but I'm so glad we're not, and nothing against revolution, but I'm so glad we're not revisiting London and Paris and Knights Templar and stuff. It's, you've got your own rich heritage to explore, so that's really neat. Now, is the game based on sort of actual events, or is it more Lithuanian legends and mythology?
From the historical point of view, we actually used a lot of real facts, and that actually makes it pretty difficult to write a story because you have to use real facts. You don't want to mess with telling your own history or anyone's history. But then we added some kind of mythical powers, for example, to the relic that you're looking for. So yeah, the history is kind of real, but not all facts from history are known. So we kind of interpolated some things, and then, as I mentioned, we added some mythical things, and then we got a game. But yeah, it's based on real facts mostly. But of course, the present day things that are happening in the game, they're obviously fictional because you're a game character.
Right.
So we heard it that it's as simple as that. You interpret the facts and you have a game.
I got
It sounds simple, but when you start writing it, it gets harder.
Oh, absolutely.
I definitely see the broken sword inspiration, and I appreciate that. But I don't know if this has been covered because I was stuffing my face. I was really, really hungry. I apologize. I want to say I love your game. Like coming in late.
Thanks.
One thing that I really
Thank you.
appreciate that you folks did is that we're all trying to kind of reinvent gaming, adventure gaming, and such. But I felt that you found a really interesting way to make it unique by allowing to customize your characters. I don't really have any questions for that, but I just want to say that I really appreciated that aspect. Which one of you came up with it?
I think it was a team effort. I think mostly our writer, which is not here, he suggested it. And then we discussed it a lot, whether it adds anything or if it's something that players will just hate. But we just went for it and said, let's just do it. And everybody pitched in with the clothing options and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So when we're saying that you have broken sword inspiration, eventually you're going to see Adventure Games saying that they have crowns and pawns inspiration by customizing the characters like that.
Yay!
That would be really cool.
So I have a question. This is coming from a very ignorant standpoint. But I just don't know anything about Lithuania, and specifically, my question was about the game development scene. And I'm not even sure what the question is. What can you tell? Like, is it are there unique challenges, or is there like a local support? Is there, I don't know, anything you can think of, really?
Well, we could probably talk for hours about it, the history and the current situation and things like that. But generally, it's actually pretty good. There's quite a lot of companies here that are known in the whole world. Like for example, we have an indie studio that made Human Fall Flat. That's pretty popular in the world.
It's not an adventure game, though.
It's not an adventure game, but there's quite a lot of people that don't know that it comes from Lithuania. So we do have a pretty good game development scene here. But obviously it's a small country, so there's not like thousands of companies here. But the ones that we have are actually pretty good. Some of them are in mobile, some of them are in PC and consoles. But from the adventure game genre, I think our game is probably the first or second adventure game, at least full-featured, full-length adventure game that has been made in Lithuania. So we are kind of proud of that as well.
Looking
Although
at your...
I'm sorry, I have worked on Broken Sword 2.5, the fan game, a long time ago, but the team was mostly German, so you couldn't call it a Lithuanian game.
Looking at your past games, you're very versatile and like you try different genres, and just are you able to like give a, I don't know, a preview for like anything new that you're planning? Is it something different or related?
I think I can answer that. Yeah, looking through our portfolio, usually people can see that we worked with different things because we really wanted to make adventure games at some point, but we didn't have enough funding to make the game we really wanted. So we worked on other projects for clients and similar. And yeah, this is our first adventure game, but we really hope it's not the last. And we can say that we're working on more adventure games. Sadly, we can't say currently what those are, but I think there will be a lot of excited people there when we announce what we're working on.
Great.
So
I think
that's
the
a
right
teaser.
answer. More adventure games is the right answer.
That's right.
We
More
agree
great
on that.
adventure games.
Wonderful. Gentlemen, it's so great to have you guys on. It's so great to have gotten a chance to play Crowns and Pawns. I think you're on to something. In fact, I know you're on to something. And like I said, keep everything going. We look forward to this upcoming game
That's right.
that you're talking about. Tell everybody where they can find you in the meantime, where they could get Crowns and Pawns.
They can get Crowns and Pawns on Steam, GOG, Epic, and some other stores. Just type in Crowns and Pawns Kingdom of Deceit, or just go to crownsandpawns.com, and you will find it there. And I guess you can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and when we have other projects to announce, we will definitely post them there.
Well, make sure you let us know because we're going to follow you on the Adventure Game Hotspot.
Nice.
And thanks for inviting, and best of luck with the launch and with further stream.
Yeah, congrats on the website, and we really hope it's gonna be a hotspot for adventure gamers and developers alike.
Thank you. We're hoping that too.